Behold, historic Aran's Pike, the pride of the greater southeast Almiar area. The land today known as Aran's Pike was first discovered by Ganymede Illivan circa 1568 as the penultimate stop of the historic Durandal expedition. Settlers quickly flocked to this bold new frontier, making a name for themselves as artisans, farmers, and fishmongers, and commerce and good spirits flowed like the crystal waters of the Turnback Bay. Seldom discussed by outsiders and known to the locals simply as Home Sweet Home, the small fishing community would eventually take the name we know today in 1703 in honor of pikewoman Aran, Almiar native and hero of the French-Germanic War, slain earlier that year at the Battle of La Haute. And though the stalemate on the Louisiana front took a heavy toll on the people of Almiar, the town of Aran's Pike never lost hope, as esteemed Mayor Bartimaeus Ogg had discovered a clever loophole through which to avoid the imperial draft. The surviving Aran's Pikers, shaken by their cowardice, turned inwards to industry and the cold certainty of steel to ease their collective guilt. While the greater imperial labor force still reeled from losses in the Sun King's Crusade, Aran's Pike flourished as a town of able workers and plentiful untapped resources. 1766 saw the founding of the great Almiar Ironworks, with Aran's Pike taking its place as the heart of industry in the province and indeed the nation at large. It was here, they say, the Industrial Revolution truly began in the Orvican Empire. From the ironworks would come the Transurcan Railroad, the Durandal Observatory, and the famous Ad Rock Canal. Almiar steel sent fighting machines to the Somme, battleships to Reichshof Halifax, and even housed the first atomic weapon deployed to Berlin in 1945. But not all in Aran's Pike saw the beauty of the mechanized age. While the ironworks propelled the town from a mere geopolitical curiosity to a titan of the burgeoning defense industry, slag and industrial waste from the ironworks runoff pipe led to unprecedented heavy metal contamination of the local river, crippling the town's historic fishing communities and agricultural interests. It was this very pollution that ultimately forced the abandonment of this once historic community. Scientists believe Aran's Pike may one day be safe to return to its former glory, but the pollution may still linger in the bay as late as 1976, nearly 30 years from today. We will return with part 7 of our 15-part retrospective of Arvenic mariculture after these messages.
So, what do we think? Who's excited to refurbish an old steel mill, huh? I think the bird plate's looking pretty good. How about you? Wow, really nobody. Okay, we'll work on it. Alright, this has gone on long enough. I would like to set up a shop for these, because I have more than I know what to do with. For my shulker reloader, I need about 11 stacks, right? And this is, significantly more than that. So, and also they're being made indefinitely. So I would like to find some way to offload them. I don't know if anyone's going to buy them. I don't know what I'm going to charge for them, but I'd like to get rid of them. And I don't think that's tremendously unreasonable. So we're gonna just go do that. I don't have the materials for it, but I'm gonna get them, and we're gonna do that real quick. Okay, we are over here on the shopping island. I don't know what the hell we're calling this. Back behind the bird plate. We're right across from the future site of the new brewery, which was over there and got torn down 3 times and now is over here. And eventually I'd like to pave this whole area over and turn it into a parking lot like the bad guy in the movie where the protagonist is a dog. But for now I've flattened this area out and sort of extended it down so it doesn't look completely awful. But ideally I'd like to have I'd like to turn this just into a strip mall, basically. But the reason that I want it to be a parking lot is because my theme for my shops this season is going to be that they're all just kind of broken down vehicles. Some guy just pulled up into a parking lot, popped the trunk, and is now selling whatever garbage he had back there to whoever is interested in buying it. And not all of it is going to, strictly speaking, be legal product. Which brings me to my next point. Okay, let me be the first to welcome you to Road Warrior. Hang on. Herbal Remedies. And that's the store. So, obviously this is an ordinary RV and is not an RV from anything where anything would have been sold in any media that may or may not be illicit. This is just the Road Warrior Herbal Remedies. That's it. Okay, so let's talk about some of the things I like about this, some of the things I don't necessarily like about this that I can't really do anything about. So, one, RVs at the front, a lot more sloped. Hard to do that slope on a 1 meter grid. I tried stairs, it doesn't look good because you don't have there's no way to do that with glass. It doesn't look good, so I made it flat, like a school bus. It could be better, it could be a lot worse. I think it looks pretty good, all things considered. The sun is going down. Let's see. This is something I always run into when I'm making vehicles. In an ideal world, the rear view mirror is way in front of the window so that you can actually see it when you're looking out the window. The problem is finding something small and unobtrusive that's even shaped like a little bit like a rear view mirror and finding a place to stick it where it'll actually stay doesn't really happen, but it seems like something should be there. So these are not in the place that they necessarily should be, but I think a lot of vehicles have this same problem when you're working on this scale. I have 3 pieces of smooth quartz that I cannot account for where they go. So that's great. No idea where they need to go, but I guess I'll either figure it out or I won't. And lastly, when I built this, my testing world, as with many super flat worlds, is in a plains biome, and the moss blends really well with that grass, and it doesn't so much with the dark oak biome, which I wasn't really thinking about at the time. I might swap this out with mud, just something to keep the drip leaves here, because that is, of course, one of our products. I also don't have any spore blossoms here, which, whatever, I might. Because in vanilla, they don't look good in an item frame is part of the problem. So like I'd have to do an armor stand thing, and I don't want to deal with it right now. So, oh, also, this was supposed to be like a medium or like the stage before this, but all of the geodes that are nearby to me have been loaded for so long that I didn't have any. There's not as much space inside as perhaps there could be. I could get a lot more space if I didn't have the shutters on the windows, but I just think it looks too good to take them out, so I'm leaving them there. So we're just going to sell them out of here. I've loaded this. I got to be careful of too, because if I put a shulker box down, that's going to break it, and then mobs are going to be able to spawn in here. So maybe I should do something about that. I'm not going to. So we're going to throw these guys. Nope, I want to do stacks of 16, Kirven. 16. 64 divided by 4. It's not hard. Do that, and then some of that. I was hoping to have this. This is a lot more than I actually thought it would be. Okay, so I guess I just have some surplus. Didn't think that would fill up the whole chest. I might need to find another solution for the rest of these. Okay, so that's just actually completely full now. So I'm gonna put some. I guess the drip leaves are gonna go out here, and these are gonna be. These might be 8. So the thing about these is that they're very common if you go look for them, but they're not renewable. So in the grand scheme of things, they're kind of rare. But I don't want to sell them in units of 8, because that doesn't seem like a lot. What if I just fill up this barrel with all the ones I've got right now? Yeah, these are less common too from the sniffers, so they're going to be. I got to make them a little more expensive, I think, which I don't know. They don't feel like they're the most expensive thing here, but I got thousands of these and a non-zero amount of spore blossoms. These I think I can get away with in selling in 8s. Now for me, this is going to look awesome, and for everyone else, it's going to suck. But that looks great. And then if we turn off my resource pack, it sucks. I guess I could do that, but man, does that look bad. Also, I always forget about the birch on item frames. Ugh. Come on, lady. Where do you keep your stonecutter? Why do I hear Okay, I just need the stonecutter. I just need the stonecutter. Is it in here? I'm gonna go. Y'all have fun. Just looking for the stone cutter. Circular saw, right there. Okay. See? And I'm going to get out of your hair now. And if you shoot another one of those things at me... Okay. Big mistake, pal. Okay. This is all I wanted to do. Just wanted to throw one of those on there. Like a gas cap or something. That might be on the wrong side of the vehicle. I don't know. But that's the gist of it. I'm going to try and figure out where these extra 3 smooth quartz blocks go and what I'm going to charge for this. And then I'm going to do something else. Because that's pretty much this done.
Oh, it's all the way from New Mexico.
Welcome to Road Warrior Herbal Remedies. Which I had to try very hard not to call nose candy. Because it's from the Sniffers.
Yes.
And nose candy is cocaine.
Yeah. It's
we got our cooking setup over here. We got some fresh crystal over here.
Oh yeah. You got it.
Rem storage is almost done. I do have plenty of copper.
I can't wait to fight Darth Maul in here. Casey had seen Star Wars, he'd think that was hilarious.
Casey's gonna be like, "Oh well, look at the time. I gotta go do things at the bakery."
I got a hurricane warning. Gotta go hang out in the storm shelter.
Warning. That's right.
I think I left the machine on. All right, we briefly interrupt your scheduled programming because I can't get up this ladder. Because we have business in the bird plate. Now, Casey and the other llama actually, no, Casey wasn't there. It was me and the other llama, and Casey was in the room at the time, have gone out and gotten this fella. And we would like a blaze farm because we need copper bulbs and end rods, and they all need blaze rods, and I don't want to do it in the nether, so we're doing it over there. And I think this is going somewhere over here. Dewey put in this road, but she has no idea what the hell she's doing with it, so it's going right here. And I'm thinking I have a rough design sketched out. I don't have all the detailing in yet, but it's somewhere between this is different. It's somewhere between an iron foundry and a steel mill, which are two very different things, but iron foundries are not interesting from the outside, and steel mills are completely incomprehensible from the outside, so I'm going to try and stick them together and see if I can make something that's a little more interesting to look at, but not completely incomprehensible. I mean, go look up what a steel mill looks like. It looks like a water park. I can't make any sense of it, but I'm going to get some bricks, and then we're gonna start moving on this. Now, blazes, the problem with blazes is that in their natural habitat, they're very difficult to farm because you can't move them easily because A, they float, and B, you can't push them with water because you can't put that in the nether. But even once you have removed the spawner from the nether, you encounter the problem that blazes are damaged by water. So, if you want to move them with water streams, you have a very limited window in which you can do that before they're just going to die. And because they don't drop anything unless a player kills them, that's bad. So, your options are either push them with water and just hope that they live long enough to get into the hole you're trying to drop them in, or you can push them with something else like, for example, pistons. Now, what is generally called a flying machine would work very well for this. However, I don't tremendously like building those because I always forget what order things need to go in, and then they don't work, and also they sometimes get stuck together, and you have to do this. There's a whole lot of other things. The size is very limited. So all this is to say that I have a solution tailor-made for not this problem, but other similar problems. Just in general, tailor-made for the fact that I don't like making these flying machines. I would say like 95% of my problem with flying machines is actually just the piston push limit. Because half of that gets taken up by the mechanics needed to run the machine in the first place. So if you could, for example, do all of that in just hypothetically a single block, that would go a long way towards making these things more feasible to use in daily work. this does take a while. I might want to consider speeding this up. Alright, let's talk about this fellow once I get upstairs. This is the light rail actuator. It works similarly to what we've seen with the fabricator and the shell dredger in that it uses these end rods for directional input. We get this fella, put him down. If you right click, it will change direction. I'm considering having a way to change the direction automatically without needing player interaction, but that's another problem for another time. So we are going to take this, and I'm going to put one over here too so that this does not go south for me, and just put a thing here. We're going to pop this down, and off he goes. And he's just pushing all on his own. And he's going to hit this, he's going to turn around, and he's going to come back. And if there was a block in front of him, he'd be pulling that. There we go. I am sick to death of these animals. Like, seriously? It's enough. How are they getting over here? How is there always a sheep standing right by? I can't. Something's got to give. And it's going to be me. I swear to God, it's going to be me. So, you sort of see how this is working. Now, imagine if there were, for example, 9 slime blocks in front of this guy in a 9x9 room with a spawner in the middle. It would sweep all the guys towards the middle. And then at that point, I'm thinking what I'm going to do, because I don't want to make another one of these guys, because they're quite expensive and I'm very low on relic spars. I'm just going to have a rail that picks them up at the bottom. So, like, they would fall here, there'd be a rail here and a wall above it. I have tested this, and that does seem to pick them up. So they get picked up by a minecart. I suppose you could argue that I could just have a minecart here already, but then you got to worry about it bumping into them, whereas if you just have a single line that you can cover up, it solves that problem a lot better. So I'm going to do that, and then I think the minecart is going to carry them to their final destination, where I will drop them out with an activator rail. I would like to mention a couple of caveats about this thing. It will keep going for a while once it leaves its end rod. I think for fabricators it's up to 16 blocks, but this is longer than that. But I don't remember the specifics because I programmed it quite a while ago and I was not fully paying attention at the time. Other caveat, as you can see, you can't just make a piston extend. You have to power it. So what's happening is that for a split second there is a stone button appearing behind it, and that's powering it. And basically what that means is if there's no open space behind it, it can't push. So that's kind of an issue. Not a deal breaker. Like, that's fixable. Also, it means that you can stop it from trying to push every couple seconds by putting a block behind it, which I'm fine with. Second problem is end rods emit light up to light level 14 inside of them. And blazes can only spawn in light level 11 or lower. Third issue is that slime blocks will grab these end rods, so you can't have them along the path of the actuator, but you do also need the actuator to go past one, so if it has a slime block in front of it, it's going to grab the end rod on its way through. So you have to set up a piston system to move the end rod from the actuator, or from outside of the reach of the slime blocks to next to the actuator as it passes, basically, if you want to reroute it. But that's also not impossible, and because the actuator is placing a button behind it as it moves, you could also just put a redstone line here, and as the actuator passes, it would power it. But I don't believe that is going to be how I do things. All right, you got all that? That makes sense? Okay, let's see what we can do. I don't know that I have enough materials for this, but I might try. Just to see what happens. Okay, let's do a quick progress report here. I have the outside started. It's going to be longer than this, and I need to do the back, but one thing at a time. Form follows function or whatever. So I don't know how I'm going to connect this up to the road yet, so I left a little bit of space in between it if I want to do stairs or something. It just comes up onto here. This is a breeze, but they look exactly the same as a blaze, so I'm fine with it. I'm using anvils for railings, which is very expensive. Lights coming down on chains, standard stuff. This is the Almiar Ironworks, established 1766. Of course, it's seen some upgrades since then. In industrial metallurgy was not quite what it is now in 1776, 1766. What number did I say? 66. I can read. I can remember numbers. Okay, so let's talk about the inside. One, we've got the big vat of molten steel that they have to lower the T800 Terminator. No, the T1000 and the T800. It's both. It's both Terminators going the steel. It's got the. I'm using some glass panes, like it's spitting out molten steel everywhere, which you don't want, by the way. You don't want a vat to be spilling molten steel everywhere. There's gonna be a conveyor belt or something here, or some sort of channel for this to go into, but for the moment I don't have that, so this is just sort of where it is right now. And I think that's gonna be the tube that I funnel the mobs along, if I can make that work. I also need to do something different on the ceiling, because to the best of my knowledge, this is not how these things are suspended from the ceiling. I would imagine there's quite a bit more industrial machinery up there to manage that part, but one thing at a time. I also might raise this part of the ceiling up a little more so that it's actually the ceiling of this, because I'd like to be able to get light in on this floor as well. But I've gone back and forth like 5 times on this ceiling, and I'm still not completely happy with it. So I'm going to save that for later. But so in short, this needs a rework and this needs a rework, but I'm going to try and get some of the actual mechanism in place before I start decorating around that. So let's talk about the vat, not that vat, but the spawning vat. It's going to be something else. It's not a vat. So slime blocks are here. Spawner's going to be in the middle. Blazes get pushed over, go into that lava stream to push them. I could use water, but then they would die. Lava seems to do the job okay for what I need it to do. And if they are pressed right up against the wall, which is why the lava is pushing them, they are close enough to go into the minecart, and that is going to move them onto the conveyor belt, liquid steel channel, whatever that is, and take them to their destination, which might actually just be somewhere over here, because you need to be close to the spawner for it to work in the first place. I'm going to figure it out later. There's going to be conveyor belts is basically what you need to know. So let's talk about the internal mechanism of this. So I have trapdoors here to keep them pressed up closer to the wall at all times. These aren't critical, but I like having them. And these slime block rails, this is a little bit of work to explain. So this lever is, let's free cam over here. This lever is connected to this piston, slime blocks, end rod there, just a regular block there. When the end rod comes down, it's going to set the actuator moving this way. Right now it's trying to move this way. And that will go over to the end here, and we'll talk about this mechanism when it gets there. So it's going over there. Now, what's happening here? So as we discussed, the end rod, if it is here when the slime blocks come through, will get picked up by the slime blocks and moved. Or in this case, because there is a wall here, it will not be able to move, and the entire machine will break because the slime blocks are unable to move. So that is what necessitates the bell. Now, a bell cannot be moved by slime blocks, so they won't even try to pick them up. They won't get jammed. But when the slime blocks or any other solid block go next to this bell, which is currently mounted on the observer, it changes block states to mount on both the observer and the block over here. That will push out the end rod, and when the actuator turns around, because the end rod is now here, it will pull back the slime blocks and retract the end rod before they have a chance to try and pull them. And we repeat this process back and forth until there are presumably no blazes in the chamber. I don't know how I'm going to detect that there are no blazes in the chamber, but I'm sure I will figure it out. So that's the important part. If nothing else, I might set up just a temporary killing chamber and just move the carts to drag them over there just so that we can say that we did. I'm not sure how I'm gonna... Ideally, you'd want it so that you whack them once and they die. But I'm not sure how I'm gonna do that, because part of the problem, one of the main problems with this is that as the slime is going through, if they spawn while the slime is over here and it comes back, it'll squish them up against the wall and they'll take a little bit of damage, and then it'll come back and push them. So the amount of health that they have going into the tube is not exact. I gotta figure out what else goes in a steel mill, mostly. Because it's like, well, I know there's a big bucket and a furnace. I got those two. Now what? What are the rest of these tubes? I don't know what the hell they're making here. Maybe it's just a very long, wide channel, and we just say they're making railroad tracks. So I don't have to put in any effort to make it look like they're making a shape. I realized as I was putting it in, I also probably could have used gray concrete and gotten the exact same effect for cheaper, but whatever.
Right. I don't know. Cyan terracotta seems to have like more of a
it's got just a
industrial
little
color.
bit more blue-green into it to blend with the tuff,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, it fits better with this.
Yeah. And it's crazy, by the way, that we think that terracotta works better for an industrial building than concrete.
Right.
It's concrete! I'm using stone for the floor to represent concrete. And I'm using terracotta in the wall. What happened with what went wrong with concrete in this game that nobody uses it for concrete? I'm probably gonna put the blaze spawners in a second if you want to come watch. Okay, here we go. Okay, and we're flipping the switch. Now the downside is I do currently only have one cart in there picking them up, so I probably need to refine that circuit a little bit to release them more regularly. But it should be looping around in just a second here, picking him up, drops him down, takes him through the channel, and come on, loop around here, and he is in the tube! There he goes, picks one up, goes in the tube, comes up through the channel. Well, it's it's minimum viable product as far as I'm concerned. This is pretty good. The places are going into a tube. I'd like the tube to be different, but it is what it is. And here's your souvenir batch number 1 rod. Oh yeah, we were also thinking about doing a trial chamber because someone doesn't have a mace yet, and I'm hoarding all of my heavy cores because I might need them later. So. Well, oh, hey!
Well, Casey. This is your stuff.
I think, by law, salvage rights. Alright, land on that armor stand and smack it. Nope. You get used to it.
This is gonna take some getting used to, yeah.
There you go.
Whee!
Now see
That's
if you can
cool.
see if you can combo it. All right.
Yeah, boy.
Land on it and then bounce and then land on it again.
That
It's
should be
easier when it's
interesting.
holding still, but it's still possible.
Yeah. So close. Pain in the butt to get, but they're fun.
Yeah, I feel like they could be a little less rare.
Yeah.
Okay, bye-bye!
Well, this is good testing for a parkour course if you do plan on doing that in the future.
Yeah, I am. It's called My House.
Yeah, that's true.
This is I live
Yeah,
like
this is a good way to burn through food.
This is how I have to get into my bedroom. Ah!
Okay,
What
bye,
just
Casey.
happened?
Both of you hit it at the same time.
What just happened? Where did I go?
Okay. Beep. I almost got thrown places.
Almost landed on it.
Ow! That fifth one is always going to be my struggle.
Oh no! Oh no! From the top ropes! We are almost completely out of Dragon Breath, though, just for the record.
Already.
What do you mean already? It's been 4 months!
Already.
I think going through a chest full of Dragon's Breath in 4 months is reasonable.
Already.
If this were lantern oil, the amount that we used would make the Jews go, whoa, okay, well, you know, we thought we had a good thing going. But you...
How many sticks are we going to have to put on the menorah now?
I mean, nicely done. Someone go down and cut down a whole tree, and we'll just say all of those branches represent the... And then we've invented the Christmas tree at that point.
Oh, yeah.
See, this could be part of the lore of the lost city of Moer. It's where the Christmas tree was invented.
Of course.
You know, maybe once the lumber ran out, you know, right?
Oh, yeah.
Or something.
Yeah.
You know, they burned some lantern oil, right? And it lasted for like 4 months. And you know, the small thriving Jewish community in former Roman occupied Carthage
Yes.
in 400 BC was like, man, you know, that's pretty good. We should make a new menorah. But where are we going to get that many sticks? And they're like, what if we just got a whole tree and we put candles on all the branches?
Yeah, I'm down to my last as well.
Come on, you stupid lizard, I have 40 to go! Come back! I was almost done! Ow. Ow.